They built cars so wild, America had to ban them. But their roar, it never really stopped.
It was the 1960s, and America loved speed, but nothing prepared the crowds for the Green Monster, Art Arfons' jet-powered dragster, part car, part missile, pure chaos on wheels. When Arfons hit the throttle, the strip shook, the sky roared, and hearts stopped. Officials called it uncontrollable, spectators called it insane, and history called it legendary. Too fast, too wild, too dangerous, it was banned. Yet in that moment, everyone understood. You could ban the machine, but you couldn't ban the man who dared to build it. Long before the roar of the Green Monster could shake the stands or freeze officials in disbelief, Art Arfons was a young man in Detroit, with a vision that went far beyond ordinary racing. Born into the post-war industrial boom, Arfons grew up surrounded by the smell of gasoline, the hiss of welding torches, and the endless rhythm of engines. While other kids dreamed of sports or office jobs, he dreamed of speed. Pure, unrestrained, almost dangerous speed. From a very early age, his life was entwined with machinery, from tinkering with small engines to dismantling family cars piece by piece, understanding every bolt, piston, and gear. To him, a car wasn't just transportation, it was potential, a vessel through which imagination could become reality. By the late 1950s, drag racing was beginning to explode across the United States. America had just emerged from World War II, and its soldiers returned home not only with discipline and technical skill, but also with a fascination for speed and power. Gasoline was cheap, chassis were plentiful, and streets and strips were full of young men eager to see who could push their machines faster. Arfons entered this world not as a follower, but as a man determined to break the rules. He didn't just want to race, he wanted to redefine what a dragster could be. His first experiments were modest by today's standards, but they were revolutionary for the time. He built lightweight frames that could shave precious seconds off a run. He tinkered with fuel mixtures that defied conventional wisdom, blending alcohol and nitromethane in proportions that could blow a standard engine apart in an instant. Mechanics who observed his early runs often shook their heads. "It's too risky," they would say. "It won't last a mile." But Arfons had vision. He understood that real innovation comes from pushing boundaries, not playing it safe. Every failure was a lesson, every successful run a step closer to something extraordinary. By the early 1960s, Arfons' experiments took a dramatic turn. Inspired by the raw power of jet engines he had seen in military aircraft, he began to imagine a dragster powered not by pistons and carburetors, but by pure jet thrust. The idea was audacious, almost insane. Many would have stopped there, deterred by danger or practicality. But for Arfons, danger was fuel, and impracticality was a challenge. He began acquiring surplus jet engines, scavenged from military surplus, and started integrating them into his custom chassis. The work was painstaking, requiring precision, patience, and courage, because a single mistake could destroy the car, or worse, injure the driver. It was during this time that the name Green Monster began to take shape. Painted in a vivid, almost electric shade of green, the dragster was visually striking, but its true terror lay in its power. The monster was no ordinary car. It was a machine designed to defy control, to dominate speed, and to terrify anyone who dared watch it run. Its long, low frame seemed almost predatory, and the jet engine at its core promised acceleration that no conventional vehicle could match. For Arfons, every test run was both a calculation and an act of courage. He learned to respect the machine's power, yet he never allowed fear to dominate his actions. The Green Monster wasn't just about speed, it was about pushing the limits of human imagination. Arfons meticulously documented his builds, analyzed failures, and continuously refined his design. Each component was carefully crafted to withstand forces most engineers of the era hadn't even contemplated. Tires, fuel delivery, aerodynamics. Every element had to endure the unprecedented acceleration that only a jet-powered dragster could generate. And yet, despite all the calculations and preparation, there remained an element of unpredictability. Every run carried risk, and every mile per hour brought the monster closer to its legendary status. By the time the Green Monster was ready to hit the strip publicly, Art Arfons had transformed from a tinkerer into a visionary. He had taken raw ambition, mechanical skill, and audacity, and fused them into a machine that would not only shock the racing world, but would redefine what was possible. It was more than a car, It was a statement that innovation, courage, and determination could push the boundaries of reality itself. The stage was set. The green monster was ready to roar. And when it did, the world would never forget it. The first time the green monster appeared on a drag strip, it wasn't just a car making a run, it was a seismic event. Crowds gathered, unaware that they were about to witness something that would redefine drag racing forever. The smell of jet fuel hung thick in the air, mingling with the scent of burning rubber and adrenaline. When Art Arfons climbed into the cockpit of his green missile, spectators instinctively leaned forward, eyes wide, hearts racing. Every hand gripped a camera or held onto the railing, as if the mere presence of the monster demanded reverence. The engine fired, and the noise wasn't just loud, it was visceral. The roar of the jet made the ground tremble, rattled windows, and reverberated through every bone in the body. Even experienced racers stepped back instinctively, knowing that this was no ordinary car. Then, with a surge that seemed impossible for wheels and asphalt to contain, the green monster lurched forward. Smoke plumed behind it like a comet's tail, and the air itself seemed to vibrate. People didn't just watch, they felt the speed. It was violent, untamed, and utterly mesmerizing. Spectators described it as watching a missile on wheels. Tires struggled to maintain contact with the asphalt under the immense thrust. A test run was a choreography of chaos, with every component pushed to its absolute limit. Some tracks began installing warning signs. Some officials brought engineers to analyze the monster's performance. Yet no analysis could tame the sheer audacity of the machine. Every pass was unpredictable. Every acceleration challenged the instincts of driver and audience alike. And yet, the danger was only part of the spectacle. The monster commanded awe. It forced a collective gasp from crowds, drew cheers that mixed excitement with fear, and inspired a generation of racers who had only known muscle cars and conventional dragsters. Mechanics and fellow racers whispered stories, how the green missile could outpace every vehicle on the strip, how its acceleration seemed to defy physics, how 1 second of hesitation could mean disaster. And Arfons. He remained calm, focused, almost meditative in the cockpit, understanding both the risk and the glory. But not everyone celebrated. Officials became increasingly concerned. Insurance companies balked. Newspaper articles described the car as a menace on wheels, reckless beyond comprehension, and a danger to life and limb. The monster challenged authority as much as it challenged speed records. It forced a critical question. How do you regulate a machine that refuses to be contained? The roar that thrilled spectators was the same roar that terrified the gatekeepers of racing. With each run, the green monster's reputation grew. It wasn't just a car, it was a spectacle that blurred the lines between genius and madness, between innovation and risk. Crowds came not only to watch a race, but to witness a rebellion on wheels. Arfons had created more than a dragster. He had created a symbol, a living testament to audacity, skill, and the relentless pursuit of speed. The green monster had become a force that could not be ignored. Every mile per hour, every burst of flame, every tremor through the stands reminded the world that Art Arfons wasn't just racing, he was rewriting the rules. And as officials began to debate how or if they could contain this unstoppable machine, one truth became clear. When the green monster ran, history was being written in smoke, fire, and speed. The green monster had already become a legend on the strip, its emerald frame and jet-powered roar unforgettable. But as thrilling as it was for spectators, it became a nightmare for officials. Track organizers, insurance companies, and governing bodies of drag racing found themselves facing a machine that defied every rule they had ever enforced. Art Arfons had built more than a car. He had built a phenomenon that challenged authority, logic, and even common sense. Complaints began to pile up. Safety inspectors noted the impossibility of controlling a jet-powered dragster on standard tracks. Tires designed for conventional dragsters shredded under the immense force of acceleration. Fuel systems carried a volatility that no insurance policy could cover. Engineers warned that a single miscalculation could result in catastrophe. Spectators thrilled, yes, but officials feared that a single accident could lead to lawsuits, injuries, or worse. Newspapers jumped on the story, publishing headlines that branded the green monster as America's most dangerous dragster and a car too fast for safety. The public adored it, regulators feared it, debates erupted, meetings stretched for hours, with arguments echoing across the corridors of racing organizations. Some argued that innovation required risk, that Arfons' creation was advancing the sport in ways no conventional dragster could. Others countered that speed without control was recklessness, that spectators and racers alike were being exposed to unnecessary danger. The Green Monster, it seemed, had become a litmus test for the sport itself, a mirror reflecting both the daring of visionaries and the caution of those sworn to protect the public. The verdict eventually came. The Green Monster would be banned from sanctioned events. The ruling was unprecedented. It was a recognition that while brilliance could inspire, unchecked power could not be allowed to operate under the guise of sport. Arfon's creation was too fast, too unpredictable, and too dangerous to compete within the existing framework. The ban shocked fans and racers alike. Crowds that had cheered for the monster's audacity now protested, demanding to see it run again. Fellow racers debated its fairness, some secretly admiring Arfon's for pushing the limits while others feared for their own safety. Yet the ban could not erase the legend. The Green Monster had already altered the landscape of drag racing. Engineers studied its design, racers aspired to emulate its raw power, and fans carried the memory of its runs in their hearts. Arfon's, undeterred, continued refining his machine outside official tracks, testing it in secrecy, and inspiring a generation of innovators who understood that true progress often comes at the edge of control. In the end, the Green Monster's ban didn't silence its roar, it amplified it. The world had witnessed a car that could defy rules, outpace logic, and leave a permanent mark on history. The story of Art Arfon's and his jet-powered dragster became a cautionary tale, a legend, and a symbol of what it means to push beyond limits. It was a reminder that speed is thrilling, courage is essential, and sometimes, the most extraordinary creations are those that authorities fear the most. The Green Monster had been banned, yes, but its impact was unstoppable, a testament to human ingenuity, daring, and the unquenchable desire to chase the impossible. Though the Green Monster had been banned from official drag strips, its influence rippled across the world of racing and beyond, far more powerful than any rulebook could contain. Art Arfon's creation was no longer just a machine, it was a movement, a symbol of human ingenuity, courage, and audacity. The very act of building something that defied the limits of conventional engineering had sparked a revolution in how racers, engineers, and enthusiasts approached speed. Modern drag racing owes a debt to the Green Monster. The audacity of Arfon's jet-powered experiments forced governing bodies to rethink safety protocols, track design, and engine regulations. Tire technology, fuel delivery systems, and chassis engineering all evolved as a direct response to the unprecedented challenges posed by his creation. Every innovation, every rule change, every design improvement in the decades that followed carried echoes of that emerald missile tearing down Ohio's strips in the 1960s. In many ways, the Green Monster didn't just push the limits of speed, it pushed the limits of human understanding of what a dragster could be. But the legacy was not only technical, it was cultural. The Green Monster embodied rebellion against the ordinary and the audacity to pursue dreams at the edge of danger. It became a symbol of courage, daring, and the refusal to settle for mediocrity. Generations of racers and fans have carried the story forward, marveling at a car that terrified officials, yet captured imaginations. Every time a modern dragster roars down a track at unimaginable speed, a part of that spirit lives on. A tribute to a man who built a machine that challenged authority, physics, and fear itself. Art Arfon's story also became a lesson in vision and perseverance. The Green Monster was built by a man who refused to let rules or convention define his imagination. Its legacy reminds us that true innovation often emerges at the edge of danger, that creativity requires courage, and that those who dare to dream beyond the possible are the ones who change history. Racers today may never build another Green Monster, but its influence persists in every daring idea, every record-breaking run, and every machine that pushes the boundaries of speed. Even decades after its ban, the Green Monster continues to inspire awe. Museums, collectors, and enthusiasts study its design, its runs, and the stories of those who witnessed it. It is celebrated not just as a car, but as a testament to the power of human ambition. In every roaring engine, in every mile of unbridled acceleration, the spirit of the Green Monster reminds the world that greatness can be wild, dangerous, and unstoppable. The Green Monster's story is proof that while rules can restrict machines, they cannot restrict imagination. Speed, audacity, and vision leave a mark far deeper than regulations ever could. Art Arfon's legendary creation didn't just shake America, it shook the world of racing forever. Its roar still echoes, reminding us that innovation lives where courage meets chaos, and that legends, no matter how banned, are immortal. The Green Monster may have been banned from the drag strips, but its legacy refuses to fade. Art Arfons didn't just build a car, he created a force that challenged every rule, terrified officials, and inspired generations of racers and enthusiasts. Every time the Emerald Dragster roared down the strip, it wasn't just about speed, it was a statement. It was proof that human ingenuity, courage, and determination can push beyond boundaries, defy convention, and leave an indelible mark on history. The Green Monster changed more than just racing. It forced engineers to rethink safety, track design, and performance. It forced fans to confront the raw thrill of speed that borders on chaos, and it forced the world to see that sometimes the greatest innovations come from those willing to risk everything for a vision. While officials tried to contain it, the Green Monster's spirit could not be caged. Its roar lives on in every daring run, every boundary-pushing machine, and every dreamer who dares to chase the impossible. At Regal Rides, we celebrate machines like the Green Monster, legendary, fearless, and unforgettable. If you felt the thrill of this story, if your heart raced with every roar of that jet-powered dragster, don't let the adventure stop here. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell to join us as we uncover more of the most daring, powerful, and iconic machines that shook America and defined automotive history. Share this video with fellow car enthusiasts and let them feel the raw power of the Green Monster too. Remember, you can ban a machine, but you can never ban the spirit behind it. Speed, courage, and audacity will always roar louder than any rule. And at Regal Rides, we're here to bring that roar to life, one legendary car at a time.